welcome to Mash on This, Mashable's daily culture and entertainment show that gives you tomorrow's biggest news stories today. I'm your host, a mostly sober Kathy Lee Gifford, Christina Carriaga. On Mash on This, we give you a quick rundown of what we think the best the internet has to offer. Be sure to tell us what you think in the comments, and we'll get to them at the end of the show. Let's get into it. Yesterday, we brought you photos of Trump and upset Pope. Today, we bring you the guy that kept photobombing them. During Trump's instantly infamous trip to the Vatican, this guy kept finding his way into the background of photos. There he is. Classic. This guy saw his opportunity, and he really went for it. He hadn't been active on Instagram in 2 weeks, and he thought, you know what, I really need a new picture. Okay, we're kidding. This is Monsignor Mark Miles, the Pope's translator. So, of course, it makes sense why he was always by the Pope's side. But we'd like to think that deep down, Monsignor Miles just really needed a new profile picture. We all relate to that, right? This next Trump story is sadly not surprising at all. According to an Axios reporter, Mike Allen, Trump's only app on his iPhone is Twitter. This gives Trump easy access to his favorite 140-character microblogging platform, which he uses to greet his country with early morning tweets. During the campaign last year, and in the early days of his presidency, Trump often tweeted from an Android device that was described by the New York Times as old and insecure. Remember, we're talking about the phone here, not the president. But it looks like Trump has made the switch from Android to iOS. According to the report, Trump's aides are told to keep him busy and limit his screen time so that he doesn't send out as many controversial and often unedited tweets. But I have a better idea. Why don't they download Candy Crush, give him noise-canceling headphones, and take him for a long and relaxing drive like my cousin does with her 5-year-old that when she starts to throw a temper tantrum? It definitely keeps Lucia busy. What apps would you like to see on Trump's iPhone? Let us know in the comments. You know, maybe just something simple like Spotify. I bet Trump is a metalhead. And speaking of metalheads and an amazing segue, they're building a 7-kilometer-long underground pipeline to send beer to a music festival in northern Germany. Yes, you heard that right. An underground beer pipeline will send over 400,000 liters of beer to the Wacken Open Air Festival, the world's biggest metal music festival taking place in early August. You know the one. For a bunch of metalheads, I have to say this is absolutely the broiest thing I've ever heard in my life. Look, Rory, it could also be a slide. Organizers of the festival found that 75,000 metal fans attend the event, and they each drink an average of 5.1 liters of beer per person over the course of the 3-day festival. So this pipeline should have just enough beer for everyone, and thank God, because I couldn't imagine listening to that much metal without that much beer. And we're moving on. Don't try to fly your drone while under the influence, metalheads, especially now that DJI is dropping the hammer when it comes to flying your drone. DJI's next firmware updates for all of its drone models will require users to log into the website for a new application activation process. And if you don't, DJI will destroy your drone. Okay, so they're not going to come to your house with a sledgehammer, but it'll barely fly, and if you can't fly your drone, it'll just sit in the garage collecting dust. Kind of like the snowboard that my dad got me in 7th grade. Snowboarding is surprisingly very hard. This is actually a really responsible move on the DJI's part. By making people log in to their DJI accounts and register their drones online, the company will be able to sync up each device with specific regulations of the country where it's being operated. If you don't go through the process, your drone's range will be limited and it won't be able to fly higher than 98 feet. Also, the camera won't be able to stream images, so honestly, what is even the point? The new activation process kicks in at the end of this week, so make sure that you update your firmware through the DJI Go or the Go 4 app, because if you don't, you're screwed. Okay, so I constantly ask myself the same question. I say, Christina, how did whales get so big? It keeps me up at night. We know that whales are the largest animals on the planet, but they haven't always been giants. Fossil records show that ancient whales were much smaller than the ones today. A new study suggests that it might be due to changes in the climate that affected the food that some of the whales eat, krill and small fish. Instead of being spread throughout the ocean, lots of krill started being packed into a small area. Bigger whales were simply more efficient at eating the dense pockets of krill, and they beat out their smaller cousins. If you've ever been to one of my family parties, you are very well versed in this kind of behavior. Around the Ice Age, there was also an increase in ocean upwelling, which occurs when wind pushes surface waters offshore and causes deeper ocean waters underneath to replace those deep waters, and they're often full of nutrients for the food and whales. Resulting from this combination, the researchers reported in the journal Royal Society B that the whales increased in body mass from 10 tons to 100 tons in just a few million years. This begs the question, are whales getting even bigger? Are my nightmares finally being actualized? I guess we'll find out in a few million years, and hopefully I will be gone. Hopefully. If there's one thing we know for sure, it's that Wonder Woman is coming out really soon, and we are so excited to see her kick some butt. Wonder Woman's June 2nd release date is getting closer and closer, and we're all trying to get our viewing plans sorted out. Well, one Austin Draft House is coming under fire for the women-only screening they're holding. In an effort to create an environment that resembled Themyscira, the island that Wonder Woman lives on, obviously we all know this, the Alamo Draft House in Austin created a women's-only screening for the upcoming Wonder Woman movie. Just women, like the island. Sounds like a good idea, right? We can all get behind this. Women getting together to celebrate a strong, empowered, three-dimensional female superhero on the big screen? Of course, it makes perfect sense. But as we all know, we can't have nice things. Within an hour of posting the event on Facebook, the Draft House received hundreds of comments from angry men that felt excluded by the event, saying things like, imagine the shitstorm if there was any male-only showing of anything, or a private showing for a specific race or sexual orientation. Nah, it's SJW approved. SJW being social justice warrior, and then we have this amazing comment. Could you imagine the anger and outrage from the liberal staff of Alamo if Trump held an all-male screening at the White House, or even if another theater did an all-male screening? Sorry, we had to laugh because that had almost absolutely nothing to do with anything at all. Of course, there were also many people who loved the idea and understand that this screening is a celebration of women finally being included in the world of superheroes and being represented on the big screen. Let's hope these dudes can get themselves together before Justice League comes out.